you guys, so very briefly I'm going to have you guys review irony, the 3 types of irony, and what makes irony, well, ironic. So first of all, we talked about irony, only really in the context of Shakespeare. Now, although Shakespeare is pretty hipster, as you can see here, it's really important to understand that irony is not limited to Shakespeare or to his Shakespearean plays. So we're going to think about some real-life examples of irony. Maybe drawing trees on paper. That's pretty ironic. So to review, we're going to go over each individual type of irony: situational, verbal, and dramatic. First, we're going to talk about situational irony. As you can see here, this is a situation where irony is that's pretty ironic. It says Rust-Alonium stops rust, and it's super rusty, super ironic. So situational irony is the discrepancy between the expected results and the actual results of something. So the expected results here are stopping rust, and the actual results is that there's rust all over the can. Another example is the assassination of Ronald Reagan. When Ronald Reagan was assassinated, his assassinator actually missed the first time, and the bullet ricocheted off his bulletproof car, and the bullet hit him in the chest. So basically, he was assassinated because of the thing that was supposed to be protecting him, which is super ironic. Next, we're going to talk about verbal irony. As you can see here, we have a little wonderful depiction of verbal irony, and it says, a figure of speech in which what is said and is the opposite of what is meant. So verbal irony is a statement in which the meaning the speaker is trying to convey is different than the meaning that's supposed to be being expressed. So right here we have this guy getting rained on. He says, "What lovely weather!" And here we have a couple, and the girl saying, "What did the dog say to the tree? Bark, ha ha ha!" And obviously her boyfriend doesn't think that's very funny, and he says, "I honestly hope," in his head, he says, "I honestly hope people like you don't reproduce." And he says, "Well, beautiful and funny, you got it all." So basically, he's being ironic. And another example are ironic similes. So ironic similes are produced intentionally. For example, if a girlfriend's upset and she's saying, "I'm not upset," but she's obviously upset. Next, we have dramatic irony. This is the movie poster of Jaws, which I'm sure you've all heard of or seen. And this is the most famous example of dramatic irony. And dramatic irony is when the character's speech or action is unknown to the character, but the audience knows all about what's going to happen to the character. So here we have this young girl swimming, and a giant shark is about to attack her, but she doesn't know, and that's super ironic, especially when you're the one watching the movie. So this leaves the audience one step ahead of the character, and that's dramatic irony. So, now we're going to review the 3 types of irony, playing some trivia. So I want you guys to pause me so you can go over what irony is and the 3 types of it on this trivia. So now that we've reviewed, I want you guys to think back to your group presentations. What example of irony did your group use from Shakespeare, and what kind of irony was it? Was it verbal irony, situational, or dramatic? So I want you guys to discuss this amongst yourselves, so pause me and discuss the themes. So now we're going to talk about what makes irony ironic. Here's another real-life example of irony. Obviously, the CD disc is broken, and it says unbroken. It's pretty funny. So what type of irony do you think this is? Pause me to discuss this amongst yourselves. So what makes something ironic? And what's the difference between irony and coincidence? What do you guys think? Pause me to discuss this amongst yourselves. So for our final activity in the screencast, I'm going to have you guys listen to the song called Ironic. Now, even though the song's titled Ironic, I'm not really sure that there's actually any irony in it. So I want you guys to listen and decide. Is it irony or coincidence? Okay, thanks guys for listening. I hope you had fun.